Boom. All right. Yeah, we're recording. All right, we're on here. All right. So I don't even know, man. Y'all know how I do these things, man. This is literally episode 1, season 5. I can't believe I've been doing this 5 years, bro. 5 years. There's a lot of podcasts out right now. You know what I mean? A shout out to COVID for giving everybody a voice. Those of us that have been doing it prior to COVID, man. You hope that you do something that people like. You hope that that you bring on guests that people like, and more than anything, you listen to what people say in terms of guests they would like to hear from, man. And this guy's been requested a lot by a few people over and over and over. So we had to do it. So they call him the boss, El Jefe. You know what I mean, Mr. Lift ATX.
Shut up, bro.
No one calls me that, bro. Daniel. But yeah, man, for those people that are living under a rock that don't know who Daniel is, man, I'm gonna give him the floor to kind of chop it up about himself, kind of explain who he is and why you should know who he is, and then we're gonna dive into it, man. Daniel, my man, the floor is yours.
Talk about an intro, dog. God dang. My name is Daniel, owner of Lift ATX. A little bit about myself. I've lived in Austin since for 22 years now. Moved here in 99, 2000, went to UT, made Austin home. Only ever lived and worked on the east side of Austin. So that's really the only community that I've ever really fucked with and know. Right. Originally from South Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas. Lived there. The minute I graduated high school, I moved here and never wanted to go back. Not that, I mean, I love my hometown. I love all my family and friends that are still there, but I needed to get out. I kind of knew that I needed to leave. Anyways, spent roughly about 20 years in the educational field as a teacher, as an educator, as an athletic director, as a baseball coach, football coach. Most of my career was as like an athletic director and a coach. And I say this a lot, and like a lot of educators, you get burnt out pretty quickly. And it was time. I reached that point where it was time. I knew that I needed to pivot and change. Something needed to change. I always knew I wanted to open up a business. An opportunity came across the table where I was able to go get my MBA, my master's at U of H. Mm-hmm. And I was able to do that. I took advantage. That was the only time that me and my wife, Tony, ever left Austin. That was to finish school. She finished her PhD. I finished my MBA program. And it was during that program where I sort of went through my fitness journey and became obsessed with this fitness shit. I kind of went through my own transformation, figured out proper ways of dieting and eating, lost about 40 pounds, and went to a really dope ass gym at that time while I was in school. And being from the east side of Austin, I quickly realized, like, you know what, I could do this shit. I could do this. I could do it better. And this is something that Austin doesn't have. Because in business, like my attitude towards like anything business is like, you figure out a problem or you figure out if something is missing and you try to fill that hole, right? You try to solve that problem. And I knew that there was nothing in the Austin area that I wanted to open up a gym, right? And I wanted this gym to be grimy, and I wanted it to be a warehouse, and I wanted it to be hot. I wanted it to be AC. I wanted to just be like this grimy ass social place that didn't exist in East Austin, or at least in the heart of East Austin, which is an area that was rapidly changing. And, at the end of the day, I really just wanted to put on for my gente, for like my Latino people in East Austin, in a quickly gentrifying area of Austin. I really wanted to establish one last sort of place that was Latino owned, that I think Austinites in general, not just East Austinites, but like people in general that are born and raised in Austin can take pride in and feel like they belong there. And most importantly, was authentic as fuck. So fast forward to 2018, 2019, where I'm starting to make progress and like starting to make decisions about the gym. I'm looking at spaces, I'm looking at equipment, I'm looking at like everything that goes into opening up a business. And then you get hit with this thing called COVID, right? Like you start hearing about this COVID shit. And yeah, that was scary because full transparency, when that happened, that was the only time where I was starting to question whether or not this was going to be a good idea, whether or not I was going to fulfill my passion project. And I was left at a crossroads, right? I was left at a crossroads of like, okay, do I go back to teaching and coaching, which I knew I didn't want to fucking do. Like
Right.
I didn't want to go back to it, but at the end of, but at the same time, America was shutting down and like,
Right. The only
but
thing
anyways,
available was essential jobs at that point.
yeah, man, places were shutting down and I was doing all this legwork. I put a deposit on equipment. I was going to sign a lease and shit. And then like, but COVID allowed me and my team, my wife, the people, my circle that were helping me make some important decisions. What it did allow me to do was slow down, think about the process, do a lot of strategic planning, do a lot of timing, looking at data, looking at the best times and ways to open up a business. And we're talking about, my wife's a data scientist. She's a researcher. So she's all about research and data. And like, we're looking at the best ways of setting up a business for like the best airflow, especially when we're talking about a gym.
Yep.
So that's what we did, man. We slowed down. We started very small. Anybody out there that like has been following the gym for a minute or recently or like the past year or has been like a follower or a fan of the gym that may not know this, we started very small. Like what we put out there now is nothing like what it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
We started with a little, I think it was like 40 by 50 square foot box, roughly about 2,700 square foot, garage doors in the front and the back, and the bare minimum of equipment, and literally wanted to set up this space for my friends to like work out and hang out and talk shit and cheese man this and
Right.
then it just kind of grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, and we were able to just add on more and add into a bigger space, and then now we're here. Fast forward 2 years later, like to the date, like we opened our doors to the public September 1st, 2020. I signed my lease July 1st and spent 2 months renovating the space. We did like a soft opening for family and friends August 1. So that's quickly approaching. So we are in year 3 of the business. And now I got guys like Los behind me who's driving my creative director and driving everything and that has to do with social media and IG. You see him? That's how he is, bro. And I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of amazing people, including you, right? Like we didn't know each other, and like not only was I able to meet and a lot of just dope ass people, but now they're part of my lives, and I consider them friends. I consider them homies. I didn't think, you asked me 2 years ago, you thought that I'd be like a power lifter or getting into this powerlifting shit. Hell no. No. I just started doing this stuff, and it's because of the community. It's because of the community and the people that I surround myself by. And it's been nothing but fun. It doesn't feel like work. Don't get me wrong. We've gone through some struggles. We've gone through some heartaches. We've gone through some changes. But it's great what I'm so grateful for what we have, and my staff and my team and my trainers and the community, because it doesn't feel like work. I get to hang out with who I consider friends all day long. Absolutely. And it's a great space, and we have fun,
I mean, that's all. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, 100, that's what you want. That's what you want to be able to wake up and be happy with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I mean, it's not every day that you're going to wake up like, yo, I'm chomping at the bit to go knock this out. But at the same time, I'd much rather be able to wake up every day not hating where I'm going.
Exactly.
I
think for me, like, I know in my heart, and I sleep well at night knowing that I'm providing something special for the East Side community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's not just fitness. And I say it all the time. I'm like, I literally say this all the time. Like the weights, the PRs, the weight loss, the bodybuilding shows, the dumbbells, like everything, that's like secondary for me.
Right.
Like that's like that shit ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
For me, it's more about actually providing a service and doing what I can for the area that I'm located in, for like
Exactly.
East Austin. So like, it's been great, man. It's been fun. It's been a lot of joy. You know, my cup is full, you know?
I mean, that's
And
like the point, bro. Like,
yeah,
I think the one thing, man, that from the people that I've talked to, because I mean, obviously being in this business, being in this industry, being around people, being in this community, you see people not, I mean, I'm treading lightly when I say it, but you see people that feel like I can open up a gym. No, I
yeah,
can do this. I can open up a gym. And granted, anyone can open up a gym, but not
facts.
everyone can run a gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
being said, that being said, there's a lot of gyms. There's a lot of gyms, you know, across the board everywhere. There's a lot of gyms in the Austin area.
And a lot more opening up now that
Straight
we're like
up.
less restrictive and like things
Exactly.
are getting back
Exactly.
to normal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I mean, so people feel like, no, I can do this.
Yeah.
But not everyone can do it.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
just the truth. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants to start their own apparel company. Everyone, in Los's case, everyone thinks that they can get behind a lens and be like, oh, I could do that. But there's a reason why there's good and there's a reason why there's all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of all right out there. But here's the thing, even with gyms, there's so many all right gyms out there. The market is so saturated with all right that that's become the norm. People don't even realize, like, you know, this is an okay gym. This is all right, but this isn't a good gym.
Yeah.
There's a point of differentiation between good, all right, and great.
What I like to, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. And what I've been saying more periodically is like, your business, whether it's a gym or whatever, you got to have a soul. It's got to have a soul. Like it's got to have something, because like, yes, anybody can open up a business. We're not just talking about gyms. Anybody can open up. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the best equipment in the world, the best looking equipment in the world, the best looking space in the world, the best of everything. And you can have an enormous, unlimited budget to start any business. But do you have a soul? Like, you know, you hear it all the time. With Lift ATX, you hear vibes, 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 vibes. And it's like, it's a real thing, man. Like I've been to a lot of places where the vibes are off or there's none. And like, and I didn't, you know, it's also something that you can quickly overlook. But what people tell me is like, you go to a place and it's like, you just feel the vibes, man. It's just got a good space, a good feeling. And like, so you're right. Yes, anybody can start a business, but you got to have a soul and you got to find it. And you got to figure that out. And your team has got to make efforts to figure out what kind of vibe and soul that you want your space to own, to have, and to never stray away from that.
That's
facts. You know what I'm saying? Like never stray away from that when you find it, and lean into it as much as you can and build your team. Right. And then we're getting a little bit more in the weeds, but you got to like build your team and the people that you fuck with who are on board with those vibes.
Absolutely.
And know what we're trying to do, and that it's bigger than a gym. It's bigger than my vision. It's bigger than my mission. It's something special. Right. And like, that takes work, you know, it takes work.
So, I mean, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper into that, because I mean, I definitely want to dig a little deeper into that point. So I feel like, obviously with the good gyms and the great gyms versus the other gyms that you go to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's, I guess, I mean, you know, and I'm gonna say, obviously the vibe is there, right? We're gonna take vibe, we're gonna stamp it in the ground, boom. We know that that's part of it. Yes. But aside from the vibe, like what differentiates you guys from any other gym? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ask that to everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, a lot of people like, I mean, you got to come there you got to be there to see what I'm talking about. I've been there many times. I know what it is, you know what I'm saying? But for some layman that's walking off the street, like, hey man, like why is this parking lot full? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, it's full. Like, oh yeah, I heard they have a car lot next to them. Actually, they're not even there right now. Yeah. Oh, these are all just people going in and out. Yeah, that's people going in and out.
That's a great question.
You know what I mean? Like, what's that? I mean, again, we can come back to it in a little bit. I mean, but At some point, there has to be a point of differentiation between you and everyone else.
A bunch of things come to mind. A bunch of words, a bunch of things come to mind immediately, right? And of course, we could talk about this all day, but I think what comes to mind is options. Right. Like MySpace has a lot of options.
Facts.
In regards to how you want, like the how you want to work out and train, we've got options.
Absolutely.
Inside, outside, it's comfortable. There's something always to be able to look at MySpace, right?
Right.
Like it's very, very aesthetically pleasing. So you're never bored with what you're looking at.
Right.
Because I fuck with a lot of artists. I fuck with
Absolutely.
a lot of local artists. So like I intentionally made it that way. Like those are things that I thought out because I just don't want a box and equipment. I just don't want a box and equipment. Like, so I think about that. And then I also think, and I'm not saying this because he's just one of many, but I think of a lot of people that add a lot of personality to my gym.
Absolutely.
Like, I think about Los, that when you can't duplicate personalities like Los when he's there.
You absolutely can't.
And a lot of people really fucking fuck with it. And some people, it could be a little bit like, yo, this is a little too much.
Right.
But I think the people that we have there truly love seeing people being themselves. Right. Being authentic, being genuine, and most importantly, having some fucking fun.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, like, I think about Los, I think about Hector Heck, who's born and raised in the East Side and is
absolutely
like blood in, blood out, my homie, like authentic as fuck. I think, I think about like Christina Sun Biceps, who's creative and looks different, and like, and is another very authentic person who brings a whole bunch of like personality to the gym. I think about the mixture of members that we have, from some of the most shredded, beautiful people on earth to some of the monsters that we have coming to the gym. So like, I think there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot of influence within the gym, like within Lift ATX.
Absolutely.
It's not, and I hope it never gets this way, knock on wood, it's not a boring gym, right? Wow. It's not. And there's a lot of things that are done intentionally. You're gonna see signs that got the word fuck on them. Right. Like you're not gonna ever see that in corporate gyms.
No, not at all.
We're also not afraid to tell you some shit if you're doing something sideways, if you're and I think the community knows that. I think we built that into the culture, and that's not a negative thing. I'm not talking about like being an asshole to like members. I'm talking about like, yo, like when members in the community see certain people doing things that they shouldn't be in a kind way, we're gonna be like, yo, this is how you do this. Right. Or you should do X, Y, and Z. And I also think of the diversity that we have at the gym.
Yeah, that's true.
That to me was a very important goal of mine, was to make sure that it was inclusive, and inclusive as fuck. I mean, we use that word a lot, and a lot of businesses use that word a lot, but they don't think about the efforts being taken. How do you make your business to be inclusive?
It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to actually do it.
Exactly. So
like you have to create a space. There has to be a space created for inclusivity. Inclusivity is one of those things where it's like that $5 word that everyone likes to use, but you know what I mean? But it's like $1 million action that no one actually knows how to put in action.
And a lot of times when it comes to business, like businesses, people can choose to whether like keep it business as usual, or to be like, nah, I'm gonna make some effort to make sure I try to do my part in making this business more inclusive than the next person.
And that's
risky. That can be risky, especially in today's society, and especially when everybody's allowed to have a fucking opinion. Like that takes sometimes some risk. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're skirting the line. You know what I mean? Because at this point, we're at such a heightened level of sensitivity. And even in the whole realm of being inclusive, within any and everything that you do, there's always somebody that feels like they're being left out, no matter what. You know what I mean? And so when you are, making such an effort to be inclusive, you know, to any and everyone, you know, to make all feel welcome. It always seems there's always someone, you know, that tries to find a reason as to why and or how they've been excluded from, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, that part I get. To try to create something, shit, it's almost like trying to create, you know what I mean? It's like Noah trying to create his ark and trying to get everything 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Some animal, something feels like they're being left out of that ark. Like, nah, now you're gonna be me to drown, but you get everybody else. You know, not realizing that, you know what, man, it's such a big plate out there.
Yeah. So like, I think another thing, you know, what makes us different. There's a lot of things, but those are just some of the things that I think about. I think also like, I feel like there's an experience that comes when you pull into our little car lot.
Absolutely.
And you see the paintings on the front of the wall, you see the turf, you see the banners, like, and I think it's a good mix of my personality in regards to not taking myself so seriously, but at the same time, there's moments when I know it's time to work. So like it's a good little mix of that we've made really big efforts in trying to portray that. And again, it goes back to authenticity. It goes back to being authentic. It goes back to like, this is who I am. This is my business. You're either gonna fuck with it or you're not. This is my culture. I take a lot of pride in, and that's what it kind of comes down to. But that's a really good question. Like, and it's also sometimes hard questions to answer, man. Like, I don't know. Half of the time, like, I don't know. I tell, man, this gym is awesome. I was like, yeah, okay. But like, to me, we're our biggest critics. So a lot of times I'm just like, man, there's so many things that I can improve about. I know my gym is small. I know it's hot. I know we get packed. I know we need more of this. I know we need to fix this. But that's, I think for most business owners, we're always going to be our biggest critic. Even for like creators like Los, like he's always like trying to improve stuff all the time. Right, Los, you still back there?
Yeah, he's back there. He's back there. Los is gonna Los. At what point, this is something I've been meaning to ask because I've never really asked you. I didn't even ask you this like man to man. This is
oh shit. Okay. Sorry, I curse, man. When I get excited, I curse. I'm sorry, Alex.
Hey, at what point did you realize, yo, we got something? Like, yo, we got something.
When he met me.
Shut up, fool. You don't even count. Get out of here.
Man, like I think there's a couple of milestones that come to mind when I think about we're doing something right. And a couple of I'll talk about a couple of them. One is the first time that we had like our staff meeting. Like that was a very surreal feeling because I'm standing in front of my team of like 6 or 7 people. And I never thought I'd get to that point where I have like a full staff. I'm like, damn, we actually here, because I mean, it was always a goal. And I always knew that at some point I hope to have a full staff. I hope to have a GM. I hope to have, so that when I was officially able to hire like Christina as my director of design, when I was officially able to offer Los a full-time job as my creative director, when we were able to sign the lease in our space next door that made us like almost double in size. And that happened after month 3 versus year 2 when I expected to have that conversation. The merch,
that's the sign, bro.
I think the merch, the way that the merch has taken off into this whole other sort of monster and opportunity for us as a gym, that was kind of, it's a very surreal feeling. But the amount of love and support that we get from the community anytime we have a merch drop is it's a very surreal feeling. Like I always question myself, like, damn, is this really fucking happening? Like, like there's people wait, like what? Like, nah, like there's, but you know what? Like, I'm a sneakerhead. I love street culture. I love fashion. And I have a badass graphic designer with Christina and on an awesome creative team. So like when you put all of us together, we can create some really dope stuff. And yeah, so like that's what I think about. Austin voting us like #1 best new gym in Austin. That was cool.
That's fire.
It was cool. It was unexpected. It was because you and I both know, like when you're starting something, like it's just like you just grind. Like you just, it's normal. Like you just work and you try and do good for people and you try to put people in better positions and opportunities. So you're just constantly working and working and working. It's hard for me to sort of sit back. It's very difficult for me to sort of sit back and take in everything that's happened with the gym.
Right.
And but I have a really awesome team that when I need my flowers, they give them to me, because sometimes I'm so just like go, 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 go.
Yo.
And to me, I'm always gonna say, like, we're still just getting started. And we are. Like, we've only been open for 2 years. Like,
and killing it.
It's crazy. It's been crazy, but it's been I'm grateful, you know, I'm grateful for everything, you know. So like those are some moments that come to mind. Yeah. Seeing like when we started with no combo racks and now we've got like 6 or 7.
Oh, that's
like, yeah. Like what? Like, nah, like that wasn't supposed to happen. And it did. Like we're here, you know? So like all those little things. And you know, and it happened because one of my best friends, the only powerlifter I knew, he started powerlifting. He was like, yo, I need a combo. It's like, we're gonna get it. Shout out to Andrew. We're gonna get you a combo, Andrew. And then with that, brought in a couple more powerlifters, and then a couple more. It's like, yo, we need another. We need another combo. You hear Lowe's talking shit? we need another combo, and then we need another one and another. Shout out to TSS, who like, man, Wes, you know, he took care of us. Man. Wes is the man, and I don't really get to like. I don't talk to him that much, but like he took care of us in a time that we really needed. And like anytime we needed another combo, you know, we didn't have a lot of money like starting the gym. Like I didn't have a lot of money starting the gym. It was a small amount of money. So that was cool to be able to expand and add. So like, yeah, all these little things, man, like they're the ones where I'm like, damn, we're doing pretty good.
Doing this thing.
Yeah. And we're not stopping.
Hey man, if you stop right now, there'd be so many upset people, self-included.
No, man. Now it's getting to the exciting point,
bro. This like
I mean,
you're at a point now, man, where like it's that exciting portion of foreign territory. You know what I mean? Like where this is stuff, you know, when you start going beyond your projections, you know what I mean? You start going beyond your estimations. You know what I mean? And then you start getting into those, I call them like into your dream levels. Like, man, you know what'd be nice, bro, if we could do this and this and this. And when you start accomplishing those, like, yo, all right, so what's next? You know,
that question is like the fact that we're getting to a point where we can start asking ourselves questions like that. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. And I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, shout out to Steven, our official GM, who's running my gym now. Like he's running, like we out of the 70 plus applicants that we got in like 2 days, like, and the number of interviews that we did, like Steven came to us and he's killing it. And what that has allowed is me and my team and my wife to focus on these what next questions. And like, and it's exciting and it's scary, but like it's just very interesting to see like the like where Lift ATX is going to go in the next year. Like the things that we're going to be able to do now that I have the time to like, I mean, I'm going to never stop worrying about the gym, but now I technically can like chill about worrying about the gym. Yeah. Now I can talk about like meets. I can talk about more community events. I can talk about expansion because everybody's wondering about like what we're going to do next. So like now we're starting to talk about those questions. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'm about to ask you something that, you know what I mean? Like this is, I'm gonna dig a little deep. Not really gonna dig deep. I'm not digging too deep, man. Like I
like talking, bro. Ask, let's go.
You got it. All right. So when the East Side, right? If anybody, here's my thing. Had anybody been around, you know, like myself, you know what I mean? I'm an old dog, you know what I mean? So I used to, you know, sneak out of my dorm. We used to leave like 4 or 5 in the morning, you know what I mean? When I was in Abilene.
Long time ago.
We would drive down to Austin, you know what I mean? And the boys I grew up with, the guys that I played ball with, the dudes I hung out with, man, they're from the East Side.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Back in, early 2000s, up until, honestly, I want to say, man, you know what? I'll be generous. I want to say up until like 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, when you went to the East Side, it was like, I mean, there's to me growing up, there's only 2 East Sides that I've ever gone to that like that's synonymous with Latino culture. East
Yeah, I already know where you're getting at. So yeah,
East Side Austin,
yeah,
East Side LA.
yeah.
Those are the only 2 East Sides I've ever been to. Like, you go there, you know for a fact this is Latino. This is Latino America.
Yeah.
Being in the East Side now, it's completely different than being in the East Side back in the day.
Tell me about it, bro.
When you go to Lift ATX and you see the way everything's put together, murals on the wall, you know what I mean? Just the way the spray paint just hits it just right. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this is how the East Side used to look everywhere you went.
And that was the goal, LS. That was like, the shit just wasn't like, it was thought out.
Absolutely.
You know? Like we did it with intention.
Absolutely.
Because of the rapidly changing East Side area. Like, it was done with intention. A lot of with intention. That's all I can think about. Like, I wanted it to scream OG East Austin.
Absolutely.
I still love you. I still think we're here. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure we stay here in the East
Absolutely.
Side and make sure that we represent and put on for our culture, because it's not the same as it was.
It's not the same feel.
It's not the same. Like, I've lived only on the East Side since 2000. So like, everything about the East Side is different, and it's happening so quickly, so fast,
rapidly,
that a lot of the soul is quickly leaving because it's just changing so much. But there are, with that being said, there are still some very strong rooted businesses that are fighting, that have been here forever, that have a lot of support in the community.
Absolutely.
And I think with the startup of my gym, that was my goal, and that's still my goal, to be able to establish myself as a community gym that's East Austin blood in, blood out, right?
All right, so
it's hard, dog. It's hard because I mean, the demographics are quickly changing. We can talk about real estate. We can talk about the market right now. It's stupid
right now. Especially that side of Austin is just getting dumb. But
it's a beautiful city. We get visitors. The gym has become a destination gym for everybody that comes in from out of town. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's a very fit city. It's a very we got Town Lake, we got trails, we got beautiful Airbnbs and hotels and all these dope ass restaurants that are coming up. But a lot of times we forget about the cost of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, at what cost? I mean, it's like the locals, people that have been there since day one. But I'm gonna ask you this then.
Okay.
Just straight up, what does the East Side mean to you? Straight up, you know what I mean? Like, I know the gym, I know the ode to the East Side, you know what I mean? I know the ink on the body, I know the ink on the walls, but what does the East Side mean to you?
To me, it's my home. It's the only area, and I know it sounds cliche, but it's really the only area where I feel like I can be myself.
Right.
Where I feel like I'm part of the community, where I feel like, because you got to remember, I spent 20 years working in schools only on the East Side. So like, when I talk about, like, I know the families, I know the community, I know the area, like I know the shit, like I'm familiar. I got my thumb on the pulse of like what's happening in the area. And even though I quickly left my hometown, the East Side, not so much now in the last 8 to 10 years, but the East Side felt very much like my hometown.
Right.
And I've always been one to try and help others that needed the most help, especially working in schools, the highest at-risk schools. And that's sort of like the main reason why the gym needed to be in the heart of East Austin. Like
Right.
even if it's now the most expensive part of Austin, like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I needed to sacrifice and do everything I can to like start my gym in East Austin. And it almost didn't happen. It was almost going to be south. Like a lot of people are moving, or it was also going to be like Manor and Pflugerville, or like, because the Austin market's crazy. But man, like the East Austin is just like, I still believe that East Austin has a very brown soul. And I love our members who are born and raised East Austin, because they remind me so much of my hometown. Yeah, it's my hood, man. It's my gente. It's the most where I can be authentic and be 100 all the time. You know what I mean?
All right, so we'll I mean, I'm trying not to make it too interviewing, man, because I mean, I was ain't on front. I just like listening, man. We see.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, the cool thing is like obviously I'm seeing Los in the back, man. I mean, we alluded to it, earlier, just about like how how you never really thought you didn't realize it till you realize like, yo, I got a team. I have a group of people. I have my first full staff meeting.
Yeah, bro, it's nuts. It's crazy.
What's like what goes into like, again, there's people that listen to this that that want to start their own gym, or you know what I mean, like I can honestly say this on some man-to-man, like I don't know anybody that enjoys what they do as much as I do until I met you. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And part of that is just being able to build what you want the way you want it, but to be able to build it with a thought in mind, with a vision, obviously, in mind, but being able to have people on your side, on your right, on your left, front and back, that want to see you succeed as much as you want to see them succeed. A team, you know what I mean, and building a team and selecting a team and cultivating a team out of nothing. Because I mean, anyone that's ever done it, anyone that's ever started a business, anyone that's ever decided, I'm a bet on myself. And when that doesn't work, I'm gonna double down on myself.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you are doing it by yourself at the beginning. And somehow, some way, you're able to share your vision with someone. And then someone sometimes turn to someone's, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you look around like, yo, I got a group of people that believe in what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And slowly but surely, it stops becoming what I'm trying to do, what I want, until like, hey, well, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're building. This is us. This is about us. This is what we are trying to accomplish.
It's like what we said earlier, it's bigger than us. It's
absolutely.
But I also really enjoy, I wasn't successful in my career because like I was able to be really good in my career because somebody helped me out.
Right.
Somebody put me in a position where I was able to have a better opportunity. So like, I also really enjoy the process, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of patience. But me and my wife, Tony, we get a lot of joy out of being able to provide opportunities and to put people in better places than they were.
Right.
So like, and I talk about him all the time, and he's sitting behind me. So like, Lowe's came to me, his first interview was like, I want to create content for you. And my immediate response, me and my wife's response was like, hopefully one day we'll be able to do that. But right now, like we're at the beginning stages of it. Right. Like, but we need help working the gym. Like if you want to work the gym and you want to take some photos for the gym while you're working, man, I'd be grateful for that. But this was what, a year and a half ago, 2 years,
December 29, 2020.
December 29, 2020, right?
2020. All right, that was when you were still working at Apple.
Yeah. Like before that.
No.
That's before you were working at Apple?
No, I had just dropped out of school.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the point is, like, Lowe's came to us and he wanted to create content for the gym because he saw a lot of opportunity here at the gym. we weren't in a space to provide that opportunity, but we always told them, we hope to get there.
Right.
Push it.
And give us some time. And he thought we were BSing. And then like, now we're here. Now that's his official title. And like, there's a bunch of other people like Christina, like same thing with Christina. She wanted to just focus. She wanted to be out of the gym and be able to focus on merch. And now we're able to provide that for her.
Right.
So like, so to anybody out there, and that's just one of the many examples, like just to be able to provide opportunity for our employees is a big deal for me. Some of our older, younger employees, you know, they had thoughts about being personal trainers. So, and I'm not saying this to brag about anything, but we've been lucky enough to be like, you want to be a personal trainer? I'm going to pay for your certificate. Go get that. Go get it.
Absolutely.
No question. No, we're not expecting anything in return, but we're going to pay for your program.
Right.
So that you can, because that's what somebody did for us when we were coming up
Right.
in our profession. So we're real quick to be able to provide those extra things for our employees. So, but for anybody out there that's like, you know, because you're right, anybody can start a business. But the first thing I'm going to say is like, my experiences may be completely different than yours.
Right.
Like, there's people out there, there's a lot of young entrepreneurs that are going to probably go the traditional route and go to a bank and get a big loan like that. I don't know how that's not what I did. So like, I can't really say anything about the pressures that come along with like going to the bank and I sacrificed for years to put money away and money away and money away. And I didn't start the gym, but like 80 grand. And that was with you. And that's like, that's full transparency. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what it took.
Right.
And then the other thing that I'm going to add is two things. One, it's going to be a slow, like expect to grind by yourself. Expect to grind, expect to do everything by yourself for a long time.
Right.
And then the last thing I want to say is you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot.
That part.
In regards to everything that's important to you, friendships, family, time, wife, girlfriend, everything. You're going to have to give up some of those things because Absolutely. You just have to if you're all in into pursuing whatever it is you're trying to pursue. So like, and we, especially during a time of COVID and just grinding throughout, like there was a lot of, the last like 4 years, right, has been crazy. Like COVID, politically wise, like the society as in general, like,
man,
and then trying to start a business, like it takes a lot of work. So I think you got to be ready for some sacrifices being made, both physical and mental, like, because like it takes a lot of work. But you know, and also I love our team because we are lucky enough to surround ourselves with not yes people. So I'm a big sort of like big picture idea, like, yo, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm so lucky enough to have people in my corner,
bring you back down,
to be like, bro, you know, and my wife's a good one, Los is a good one, Christina, my entire team, like my GM, like because I sometimes my head can be in the clouds in regards to like what I want to do. And like, I don't want people to be like, yeah, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah. I was like I need people to be like, bro, you sure you think this
that might not be the move?
Yes. So like, you have to get people like that in your corner for any business moves, for anything. Like, it's so important, especially if you're sort of a big idea, big picture, big dreamer like I am. God,
we both are. Yeah. We'll get to chopping up like, yo, we can do this. Yo, we can do this. We can do this. Yo, then I'll go back. I'm like, and I'll start doing the numbers. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's gonna be 50 extra bands just to do that. I don't know about that. Let me go back and let me see if I can.
Yeah, and that's sometimes hard. Like I can imagine it. I can think about like that being hard for some of my team to like tell me like, yo, that ain't the move. But I've been able to build up pretty solid relationships with my team where it's an open dialogue and they're comfortable telling me like, yeah, you should probably think about this. Have you thought about this? Have you, so that's also important.
Okay, I'm gonna make a quick comment, right? which is really gonna go into a question. Bro, these are literally all things that have been in my head, like just when I'm around you, when I watch you. I be people, I talk a lot. You know what I mean? We get together, we get to topic. I talk a grip, but I think, you know, I've tried to work on being just as good as my observation as I am talking. I'm a killer at talking. Thing that I noticed, you know what I mean? Like when I first met you, you know what I mean? Like year or 2 years ago, right? You know what I mean? Like you're really good at like, you know, making the moves and everything. And really you deal with people, talk with people and everything. But the thing that I've noticed over the last, I can honestly say like 9 to 12 months is, bro, you've really developed even stronger, because you weren't, it's not like you're weak in this area before. You develop,
I'm curious,
a stronger capacity in terms of your ability to be a leader of men. In that I'm saying, you've always been, you know what I mean? Again, in the time that I've known you, you know what I mean? You've always been like, hey, you want to make this happen? Let's make it happen. What do you need to make it happen? Bet, let's do that. You know what? I got to climb a mountain to do that. Cool, I'll climb 2 mountains. You're really good with the action. You're always good with the action. But the thing I've noticed is, man, like now, you know what I mean? You know, you're less soldier and more leader. In that I mean, you've cultivated that portion of yourself in being a leader of men. I don't know if you've noticed that part about yourself. I don't know if that's something you're working on, but if it has been something you're working on, like, you know, have you seen that portion of yourself? Or it's just one of those things like, I mean, I'm just rolling with what I got?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that comes hand in hand with sort of, because I preach it a lot to my staff. I'm like, our gym is getting a lot of attention. It's a very popular space. And with that comes a lot more expectations.
Big facts.
So like, and with those expectations comes different ways of conducting how we like conducting ourselves in general, whether it's a staff member, whether it's us being out, so it's a combination of those things. A lot of times I don't notice, but I've always, I guess like, I feel like a lot of people have told me that I've been like a natural leader. So it's like, it's just more, see, there he goes.
Was a hater back there, dude.
He's fucking hating. No, but like, I think it's one of those things that like the gym is very popular, and it's time. And I think I do that like subconsciously, that it's like in my head, I'm like, we got to step it up a little bit, whether that's like how we all conduct ourselves or whatever. But I just keep thinking about the expectations just getting
right.
You know what I mean? But nah, like I don't really know. I think we have more opportunities to like, now that we're fully staffed and have a GM, now we can really start to get out there, right? Like get out there and like support our members in different ways that a lot of gyms don't have the ability to do that. And we're lucky enough to be in a position where we can do that, right? So like, I also really enjoy doing that stuff. I love like going out, traveling and supporting whoever it is. And like, that's fun for us because that also gives us an opportunity to get out of the gym, which I think sometimes we need to get out of our space.
Oh, cool. And y'all come to Panama, bro. Y'all come watch me. Be in Panama in August. Come on with me. You're coming to Canada. I'll be up in Canada.
Oh, bro, that'd be dope. That'd be hard. We need to go to Canada, bro. Canada's supposed to be.
Hey, I'll be at October for
October?
Second weekend of October, right during the Northern Lights.
Let's go.
Nah.
Yeah.
Bro, we should look into that, bro. Make a note.
I don't know if y'all got it. I don't know if y'all got enough time to make it down to Panama. I'm trying to get.
We don't have anything scheduled in October.
Yeah, bro. Because I have Panama in I guess 5-6 weeks, something like that. Panama. I'm gonna go down to Panama, hit the canal.
Little light flex,
right?
A little light flex.
Yeah, it is what it is. I might go down to Costa Rica, maybe hit a few waves. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, like.
But I appreciate it, LS. Like I appreciate a lot of times I don't really notice things like that. But I know that we're getting to a point where like where we've got to start, or we're thinking about like what our gym looks like in the future. So I think I just keep thinking about like the expectations getting higher and higher as our as our content and our merch and our business and our gym gets growing higher and higher, like we can never like pump the brakes, you know.
Oh,
So
no, I
like,
get that. Well, here's my thing, and I'll get off the gym and I'll get to our juicy questions now. Obviously with expectations, you know what I mean? With expectations, popularity growing, merch growing, then obviously you start getting more people. More people, obviously, you know, if it works out according to plan, the popularity grows, then the membership grows. Membership grows, then more people are obviously in the building. That being said, then obviously there's a want and or need for expansion, possibly, right?
yes.
If that were the case, and this is a legit question here, if that's the case, do you feel like an expansion, however big it is, right? You know what I mean? Like get a new space, a bigger space. Do you feel like, or do you fear risking the loss of the vibe of that vibe because of an expansion? You know what I mean? Like, because the space you got, I ain't gonna front. It's kind of becoming an entity of itself. You know what I'm saying? In and of itself, like, yo, you know what I mean? We brought off, you know what I mean? You because the cool thing when you're driving up, and again, you own it, you might have seen it, you know what I mean? Because it's your space. But when you like, you know, I'm like, hey, today's PR day, bro. Like, it's time to get it. It's time to get it. You know what I'm saying? You're going down you're going over a little, you know what I'm saying, over a little bridge, whatever, man. You come down that ramp, you look to the right, like, hey, yo, that hole is packed.
Yeah.
It's time to get it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
You know what I mean? And like you see, you know what I mean? Like, because at that point you see the cars that like the people like, oh yo, so-and-so's here. Oh,
yeah.
It's like, cool. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, with expansion leads to elevation, you know what I mean? So I mean, obviously there's that opportunity of, I mean, obviously we can expand, you know, obviously we could get a bigger space, you know what I mean? Is that space still our space? Is that space still a reflection of the East Side? If we do get a bigger space, how can we make that space?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Or is it like, all right, bet, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's not something I expect you to answer right now. But I mean, has that been something that's been on your brain? Like, yo,
like here's what I'll say. And again, I'm gonna be full transparent, right? I would love to never leave our space.
Right.
Like what we currently have, I would love to be there forever.
Right.
Because I think we've created a really special vibe and a special aesthetically, and everything it came out exactly the way I had pictured in my head. And it's beautiful. Now here's the reality of it. I don't own that space. I wish I did, but I ain't got no 12 million sitting in my account.
Right.
So here's the reality of it. It's located in one of the most hottest spots in East Austin. The landlord, the owners of that space, who own that whole corner, they obviously have gotten tons of offers on selling the land, right? So they can't. They own it. They could. But even if we do sign another 5-year lease or 10-year lease or whatever, like there's clauses in most lease that say like that, a buyout clause that be like, we sold the land and you have 45 days to get out. Like that's the reality of it.
Facts.
Because I don't own it, right? So like that could easily happen tomorrow or fucking 10 years from now. Yeah. But you've got to be aware of what's happening in East Austin right now. Like with the new building that they're building next door to me, with all of the other gentrification and new condos.
Yep.
It's a matter of time. Like it's just the reality of it. It's a matter of
time before the right price is offered. And it's like, man, listen.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're a businessman. So you know it's just business.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Right now, the land valuation is at 12 million. Well, we want to go this, and this. We're gonna offer you 20.
Yeah.
Hey, miss, I love you guys.
Yeah.
And you know what the clause says? You know what? On top of that, I'm gonna be a nice landlord. I'm gonna break you off. You know, here's $100K. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I would do.
So what we're doing now, like because we know that that's a reality, and because it might not ever happen again, like they might not ever sell.
Right.
But it's pretty clear, considering a lot of the changes taking place, that there's a good chance of that happening sometime in the future of them selling. So me and my team and my wife, like we're real big plan B persons. Like we've got to plan ahead. So what we're currently doing right now is researching and looking into what that plan B looks like.
Absolutely.
Whether that's or another Lift ATX somewhere in Austin, or a bigger space to relocate, or another space in Austin that's big enough that we can continue to expand in case we have to move the OG.
Absolutely.
Lift.
Absolutely.
So like, it sucks because I would, man, if I could, I would never leave that corner of East Austin.
I get you.
But I'm not naive, and I know how business works. I know how real estate works, and like the reality is that it's a hotspot market where that location is, and like, and we have to be prepared. We've got to at least plan ahead. So that's what we're doing now.
Hey, just be ready so you don't have to get ready, man.
Exactly. Because, and even if we were to get the notification tomorrow to be like, hey, look, we sold it, y'all got 45 days, like, we'll be fine. We'll find a space. The community will come together. We'll open up another gym somewhere. Like it, I'm not worried about it, but you know, your first space is like so special. It's your baby, bro. Like going through all the shit during COVID and the Texas winter, and like, there's already so many amazing memories that we've created. The concerts that we did, like, you never want to leave that space because it is very East Austin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is.
And it's gonna be hard to duplicate that same vibe and that same feel. But I'm not gonna ever be naive about business decisions. I'm not gonna, like, we gotta plan ahead. We gotta look to the future. So yeah, that's the best way that I can answer. And we've got a list of properties that we're going to be looking at for whatever that expansion looks like. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but for everybody out there that happens to listen to this, just know that we're doing what we can to talk about and think about what expansion looks like.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just, we ain't rolling this bad boy blind. Like, we're ready.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wifey, bro. Like, you thought I was going to leave her out? There's no way. There's not every decision, you know what I'm saying? Every decision that's made, there's no stone that's turned. There's no number that's not crunched. Like, I mean, I know, dog, this could literally be its episode, and it could be a 4-part episode just by itself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Let's just talk about let's just talk about just a few things that can't even be a few. She does everything. Let's talk about what she means to this establishment.
Oh man. She does everything outside of social media, outside of what you see my face on, outside of the merch, she's my everything, bro. She's everything to the business, man, in regards to like being the data person and nerd person and making sure employees get paid, making sure the gym has what it needs. And like, it's she's gonna hate if I end up talking about it, because that's just how she is. She doesn't like being in front of the camera. That's why we're very opposite of each other, but that's why it works. I've got the big personality and friends with everybody. I can walk into a room and make friends. She just wants to be behind a computer. And with the dogs, right? You know how that is. But she is she's everything, man. She does so much. She does everything outside of what you see. Anything that has to do with the gym exposure, right? That's all me. I'm the face. She's
the infrastructure.
She's the infrastructure. She's the reality. She's my checks and balances. Like, she does everything, man. And she is a really good. I have a very hard time giving, like, she's giving bad news to people. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like doing.
You don't like to deliver bad news. I'm the same way.
I've never been like that, and she does that a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance whenever that seldom happens, but like, it just works. Like, she does that part, and like, but she's the vital role, and she does it outside of her owning her
That's
own
what I was gonna
business
say. Yeah, man.
and
Like,
feeding and like being her own. She's a research scientist and director of the research facility at U of H. So like she's doing her own thing and she's killing it. But she also does this outside of that. So like, yeah, she's everything. She's the heifer, bro.
absolutely.
The heifer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, we'll get to the Rushmore, man. So like those people that listen, you know what I mean? Normally they know I talk a lot more, but this one I definitely want to listen. I just want, I want you guys to have. But here's the thing, man. Like the people that know me, the people that know how I'm about, the people that I gravitate towards. There's not a lot of people I'm like, yo, who's a solid dude. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, like, I like a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, but there's not a lot of people I'm like, that dude, right? You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man.
I mean, so of my people, of my circle, of my team, they already know, like, hey, Daniel, they know who Daniel is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, hey, which one you talk about? Like, there's only one Daniel as far as the Daniels I talk about.
Ah, shut up, LS, bro.
It's the truth. What am I gonna lie for? We already friends. It's not like I'm trying to get points here.
No. It's just it's dope, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I mean, I'm gonna give you your flowers now rather than wait till you're dead, bro. Like, what's the point of doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel the same way, man. Like like there's so many dope people that came into my life. That's one of the coolest parts about starting this gym. That's one of the dopest parts about starting this gym is like I have people in my corner that are like I consider them friends now.
Right.
Which I didn't have 2 years ago. So like it's a blessing, you know what I mean? Like it's something that you don't take for granted. That I don't.
No, not at all. I mean, I think the cool part is like, you befriend a person if they want nothing from you.
Yeah.
You want nothing from them. You know what I'm saying? You just happen to be in the same community space. You know what I'm saying? And I think what bounded us was the fact that we wanted to give back to the community.
Love that.
You know what I'm saying? And then it just moved from there. Like, cause for me, I'm like, ain't nobody that gung-ho to give back like me, bro. Like, and not that I've ever met. I'm like, yo, we can do this, we can do this. Yeah. Let me know, say less. We can do that. And then shit, it popped off that way. I'm like, yo, the sky is 100. Like, whatever you need from me, I got you. You don't never have to ask. I mean, just let me know I'm there. You know what I mean? And like it's and I think that's been the cool part, man. You meet people, man, and you want to see them succeed. You know what I mean? And once you make it onto my prayer list, like I'm like, this dude, he's family now, bro. Like, I mean, and, we pray over the gym, bro. We pray over y'all, man. And we just, we always hope that, you guys just continue to be blessed. You know what I mean? And then to see those blessings just keep boom happening over and over and over and over. But in return, you don't sit and squander those bad boys, but rather you bless other people. You know what I'm saying? Like you provide opportunities for other people. You know what I mean? Like we speaking to the youth. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, I want to do this. I want to give back to the kids. I want to do a canned food drive, toy drive, whatever. Yeah, we're doing that too. All right, boo, let's link up together.
Got you. That's like when you're in an opportunity or in a space to be able to give back or at least use your platform for the betterment of life and the betterment of people and the betterment of community. Why not?
Big facts.
Like, why not? Like, just like, and it doesn't have to be business all the time. Like, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just like, my mom was always a big community person and she always did a lot for a lot of people. And I'm grateful that I got that sort of personality trait.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think twice about it. Like, yeah, if we can help anybody out, like, and you're in a position to do so, why don't you?
That's love. That's love.
You know what I mean?
I'm about to get at you about that because I got some real cool stuff coming up.
I'm in.
All right, so we'll get down to the final question. The question I always ask people: if you could build a Rushmore, your Mount Rushmore of people, it don't matter if it's people in life, no matter if people in business, people in lifting, man. Obviously, Rushmore being in South Dakota, having the 4 presidents, the 4. Who would your 4 be? Who would your Rushmore be?
Man, one of the hardest questions ever, but I thought about it. I'm a fan of disruptors and I'm a fan of people that have struggled and went through hardships. So 2 of them, first, I'm also a baseball player. Like that's been part of my life. So two of them are baseball players.
I can tell by the way the hat, the curve of the hat, bro. You ain't fooling nobody. That's a baller bin right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like I love disruptors and I love people who overcome obstacles and challenges. Like those are the people. And I've looked up to these particular athletes for a very long time since I was a kid. And the first one is Roberto Clemente, first Latino baseball player with the Pirates. And the second one is obviously in good timing, Jackie Robinson.
Let's go.
I mean, those are the first two. Like that, I mean, they're disruptors. They went through the fucking struggle of breaking down barriers and stuff. And like that alone, if that's not encouraging to anybody, I don't know what the hell is. Like if that's not like influential to anybody, I don't know what is. And then the last two, I thought about my mom, single parent mom, raising 3 kids on her own, like the struggle that she had. And, you know, and it's cliche, but my mom's my hero. You know, she belongs on my Mount Rushmore because we grew up in a very poor neighborhood and household, but we didn't know we were poor at all. No. Like I didn't know that we struggled because there was a lot of love in the house. And she did everything that she can to spoil me and my brother and my sister. And we didn't know that. We didn't know that we were struggling. I didn't ever know that we were struggling or hurting for anything until you got older, until we had to start filling out for the FAFSA. And then you got to ask your parents how much money they make in a year. And I'm like, what, mom? You know what I mean? So like my mom went through a lot.
Yeah.
Single parent home, you know, she went through a lot. So that's and then the fourth one was hard, LS. I couldn't think of a fourth one without it. Yeah.
Lowe's, you can't plug yourself, dog. That just dropped like 12.
The fourth one was tough, man. Like there was a lot of people that I wanted to put on that fourth, from my brother to my wife to MJ to Kobe, like all, you know, like to MLK to Obama, like all these, that's just very hard. So like I'm not gonna be able to give you a fourth, dog. Like there are way too many, man. Like again, trendsetters, boundary breakers, like historical makers. Like, bro, if I'm forced to choose, it's probably gonna be Obama.
No, I'm not even mad at that.
Yeah, like it's probably gonna be him because I can only
historical, groundbreaking.
Yeah, like how do you not respect that? Like, especially now, especially in you know what I'm saying. So like, yeah, those would be up there. But there's all those other people that I mentioned. They're right there. They're right there. So.
Oh, like Clemente, man, that was. Whew.
You know about that Roberto Clemente, bro?
About 21, chill out, man. Chill out. I got a replica Clemente jersey in the closet.
Nah, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. My high school, we were black and gold. You know what I mean? So I was like, ooh,
okay.
Pirates joint real quick.
Yeah, Roberto, man, like, Clemente, bro.
My best friend growing up, man, like he was obsessed with Clemente. Who else was he obsessed with? He loved Reggie Jackson.
Ooh, nice.
He loved Reggie Jackson, but man, he was like, you know, no Clemente, no nobody. So nobody. I'm like, all right, well, that's, you know what I mean. But and again, it's cool to look back and really just see the impact. I mean, obviously that Jackie Robinson made, but Clemente, I feel like he was almost like the Latino groundbreaker. Yeah. I mean, in there were seven.
One is also like now that we're talking about, I'm like, shit, Ali might be up in that mug. Like, come on, right? Like Ali,
the ultimate disruptor, to be 100 with you.
Bro, Ali could easily be up in there.
But then one could argue also Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One could also Oscar Robinson. I can't.
So many.
I'm losing my train of thought. What's old boy's name? Bill Russell.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Billie Jean King. Like there's so many. Arthur Ashe. There's so many.
Jim Brown.
The
track star.
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens.
Like there's a ton that could have been mentioned, man. I think that's at this day and age, man, you know what I mean? I think the cool thing about being older is this. And again, this is just me speaking on me being me.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I'm intrigued, infatuated, and really just overwhelmed by history. And how much history has shaped who we are presently. And at the same time, how we continually repeat history over and over and over, but swear we're doing something new.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And or how our level of history, you know what I mean, is being repeated and or played, it's just in a different part of the world. You know what I mean? Like if you know your history, you'll realize like, hey man, like South Africa low key is just literally 40 to 50 years behind us right now in terms of their social development, in terms of how they've dealt with racism and systematic, you know, oppression and things of that nature. Like you look at South Africa, that's just where they're sitting at right now.
Yeah, what trips me out about history is like the people that we've named and all the shit that they went through and all the struggle, bro, that wasn't that long ago.
Not at all.
So like that's what's crazy is that like how young our country is. And
it really, really is, you know, and like how how you look at, you know, the Roman Empire, when you look at a lot of these, you know, these fallen empires, man, they've done and or they were doing a lot of things that we're presently doing now to cause their demise.
Yeah.
For some reason, we're like, no,
it's a little scary.
The exception. And I mean, there is no exception, man. Like there's two things you can count on, bro. You can always count on, you know, human error. You can count on gravity. You can count on those two. They ain't never gonna stop. Hell but yeah, man, that's always been, you know, one of the things that I think I appreciate the most about history is that it's your map of your past, and it can actually determine your future. But most people hate history, but I hated it growing up till I realized, like, yo, this Bible that I'm reading is nothing but a history book, so to speak.
Yeah.
And these stories that, you know, that my grandpa telling about him growing up and, you know, having to pick cotton and all that stuff, yo, that's just history just being spoken to me. Like, and, you know, hearing all this stuff, I'm like, yo, like these, you know, like a lot of the stuff that we're going through is, you know, it's just, it's a repeated version of something that's happened prior.
You know, newer version of old stuff.
Yeah, man. So yeah, like, but man, I'm gonna shut up, man, because tangent, man. But yeah, I just, like I said, bro, I want to reach out, want to chop it up with you, man. I wanted people to have an opportunity to see, you know what I'm saying, the man that I call my friend, you know.
It's all love, man. I tell you all the time, it's all love, it's all support, man.
Absolutely.
Anytime I get an opportunity to talk about the story, because I think a lot of people can relate to it, I'm gonna jump on it. So I appreciate you.
That's love. I appreciate that, man. Well, hey, listen. I mean, if people want to find you, obviously they can go to Lift ATX, right? At Lift ATX. Shoot, Photos Gallegos, right? I got that right.
That's my dog.
Listen, y'all, if y'all not been following Lift ATX, you need to follow. If you want to see just one, an awesome space, you know what I mean? That's one. If you want to see just amazing content, that's two. If you want to see some beautiful people, like, yo, like literally just go to their story, bro. Just go to their story.
It's all Lowe's, man. Like, a lot of people wonder like who he is. Like he's a storyteller.
Absolutely.
Period. Like he's
one of these days I'm gonna get my money up. I'm gonna be able to afford Lowe's. You know what I'm saying? I have to catch Lowe's on the low. Like, hey, you get some pictures of my guy real quick while you over here. Man, I do it every time. Like, hey, yo, Los, you get some pictures of my guy real quick. You don't mind?
I also want to encourage people like to not be afraid to say what's up to Los and say what's up to me whenever. Like don't be afraid to talk to us, man. And I know that we whenever we go like to competitions and whatever, like we definitely bring the vibes, especially if Los is with us. But like,
Los has got no sense, bro. Like,
don't be afraid.
Los is gonna be on 10 every time you talk to him. Like, hey, man, this dude's battery never goes down. But the thing is, like, I mean, you're gonna be hard pressed to find any artist with any high degree of artistic expression that's going to be on zero. It just doesn't happen. Like they all got a little bit of quirk to them. You know what I mean? They're all a little bit off. You know what I mean? And Los is no exception. Los is off a little bit, but yo, you see his stuff like, oh, that's why. Dude, you think dudes have crazy to you? Like, yo, when they focus all those energies into their art, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And that dude is
Loads
truly
right
an artist, man. He's truly an artist. But yeah, you fellas, man, like I said, it's always love. I appreciate y'all taking the time out, chop it up with me, man.
Thank
Shout
you.
out, man. Episode 1 done out the way, man.
Done, man. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
man.
you,
Love
bro.
y'all boys, man. Y'all be safe. We'll talk to y'all soon.
We'll see y'all
Later, bro.
later.